All right, so I find myself saying a lot, like, go deep, and not wide. When I get on the phone with, someone doing 75 to 100 sides, and I find that they're doing a bunch of things that are all producing a little bit instead of just figuring out one thing. And, someone has Boomtown, but they're doing like 10 other things, and they want to do like the next thing. Like, should I add Commissions Inc. or should I add, and I'm just like, just give me your Boomtown login. And let's just check out your Boomtown to see what that looks like before we add the next thing. So really, like when I ask the question, like who's doing more than 12 sides with like online seller, like home evals? So for me to even like think about going down a path, in my mind, I'm thinking it's got to be in a couple years, 40, 50, 60 sides. So it was a big deal. I mean, because I trust Kirby and he's the master and I'm just going to follow his path, for me to do something like Discover Pubs, he's...
Dale Ross is the master, not me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I knew that you talked to him and I knew you were a bright guy and you had your numbers 6 months in, and I'm just going to copy what you did. So I knew that going down that path, I knew that it was a year, probably just a tough year, right, to get it started, but I know that that could be a 60, 70, 80 homes a year pillar for us. So that's kind of how my mind works with things. And not everything I have is 40, 50, 60 sides, but I know that it has the potential to be. Even my Boomtown this year is not like crushing it for me, but I know we could do double. Now that I'm back into Boomtown and I'm looking at it every week with the agents, I know we can do 50% more next year on less spend. Mostly it's finding someone else that's done it. That's really like the #1 criteria. So I'm never going to be the first guy that does anything. Like I'm not going to I'm not going to figure out, I tried online seller home evals, I tried offshoring buyer ISAs, and it just wasn't worth the effort to me. But I generally just don't want to be the first guy that's going to do it. So if I can talk to somebody that, there was a thread, I don't know if I talked about it yesterday, but where there's one guy that's saying like online seller home eval is like the thing to do. I generated 17,000 leads in the last 26 days. And I'm like, and I pushed him hard on Facebook. I'm like just tell me like, conversations, appointments, listings taken, and closings. And it was just totally vague. And you could tell he had no idea. I think he said, at the end of it, I think he said he took a couple listings. But I'm pretty sure he may not have taken a couple listings. So it's like, just make sure that whoever is telling you the shit, because this first slide, spit. A lot of these conferences will get you on this path, where it's like, oh shit, because we're all entrepreneurs, it's like, that thing looks really cool. Who was I talking to about? So my conversation with you about the CRM is just make sure you're doing it for the right reason. Did you talk to Mikish and Schlager? Why not? I'm just kidding. So the conversation was, when we'll get into it, top producer. Like, it's just the thing agents like to hate. It's not as slick as other tools out there. Yeah, Kirby and Christina are crushing it with Infusionsoft, but I promise you that's not the answer to everything. So the point here is that there's a lot of shit that's thrown at us. We have a lot of money to spend, especially the agents that aren't operating like this as a business. That it doesn't matter what it is. If you've got something, and even if you have like multiple things, and you think, yeah, but that did 2 sales for me last year, and you're not optimizing this other thing that has more potential, I promise you if you get rid of that, those 2 sales plus more will go into this one thing that you focus on.